Welcome to NHL Hockey News Report, and today we are talking about the St. Louis Blues and the season preview. Now, before we get into the whole forwards and all this is what I want to get into, is the 17-18 stats, what happened basically 2 years ago, before we get into the champs. So, the 17-18 stats were 44, 32, and 6, 94 points. 1 point away from the playoffs. They could have made the playoffs with either Colorado Avalanche or the Blues. If you remember that last game, they played against each other, and the Avalanche beat that, and they went to the playoffs over Nashville. Blues were upset, and they knew that they had to do some work. So some work happened was O'Reilly came, Bozak came as that third line center. You had the youngster of Thomas. You also had Perron coming back for literally the fourth time to St. Louis. You had Maroon come in, great team, and they started off horrible. Yep. And I thought they were going to win the Stanley Cup. Before the whole season started, I said Blues versus Lightning, and the Blues win. Of course, I didn't get the other opponent, the Boston Bruins, right? But I said Lightning, but I said the Blues were going to win, so whatever. But getting to that, I was like, I'm so stupid. Why did I even pick the Blues around December? I was like, why did I even pick that? And then, when they won the Stanley Cup, I was like, booyah, I feel smart now. But what changed that whole thing around? The coaching, Mike Yeo getting dismissed from the Blues coaching staff. The other one is Binnington coming up from the minors and thought everyone, oh, this is not NHL goaltender. What he showed, shut out in the first game, 2-0, boom. You know what I mean? And just absolutely showed it. Berube giving that physical side of his coaching, telling him, come on, keep competing, come on. Even though one of those down times during the playoffs, he kept saying, come on. Even during the Boston Bruins, it was a tough one. Keep pushing them, tire them out. And they did. They hurt Zdeno Chara while they shot a puck and it hit him in the mouth, in the jaw, broken in multiple places. And after the Stanley Cup happened, they found out that the whole first line was injured. They didn't want to say anything, but the whole first line was. And multiple players on the team was injured too. So you could really see how much the Blues were trying to push for the Stanley Cup. Now, the off-season has come. The players are having their day with the Stanley Cup, and the latest one was Perron, I'm pretty sure. Everyone's getting their time, and they're still going through them all, but let's look at, can we also look at the 18-19 stats? I want to read the record. I didn't read it to you, sorry. 45, 28, and 9, 99 points to get third in the Central. Forgot about that. Third in Central against Winnipeg, and we all know the whole thing. The ones who have left the Blues was Jordan Schmaltz, and he was traded to Toronto for Andreas Bergman. I like that trade. It's a small trade, but I do like Bergman over Schmaltz. He really hasn't shown much, but maybe Toronto does something with him. Who knows? And Del Zotto. Michael Del Zotto didn't do anything with this team, literally. He still won the Stanley Cup, but he played 2 games during the season. Didn't play anything in the playoffs, but still was able to hold the Stanley Cup. And those are the two that left. One in trade, one in free agency. Del Zotto's back with the Ducks after being traded at the deadline, going from Vancouver, then to the Ducks, and then to the Blues, and then back to the Ducks in free agency. And the new one is Derek Pouliot from the Vancouver Canucks. And if you don't know who Derek Pouliot is, maybe you know he used to be in Pittsburgh. So he has signed. And let's get into our forwards now. Why not? First one is Jordan Schwartz. I try to make these lines, they always change, so you never know. But before I get into Jordan Schwartz, I don't want to mess this all up. Maroon, is he back with the St. Louis Blues? That's my question. Is he coming back with the St. Louis Blues? Maybe some of you say no, maybe you say yes. I think he's waiting just to enjoy the cup, and then one day he's just going to sign and be like, hey guys, I am going to the blank. You know what I mean? Hopefully the Blues, because I really liked what he did in the Blues. the hometown boy wins the Stanley Cup with the team. There's not many players come from St. Louis that win a cup or just in general come to the NHL. So, let's move on. Okay, Jordan Schwartz, $5.35 million contract, 36 points. There was a little trade rumors, I would say, about this player. Really underachieved after having 59 points in the 17-18 season. And really looking at what's the problem with him? Well, he changed it around in the playoffs. Did he ever? Definitely what we see is definitely worth that $5.35 million contract. Of course, around the final, he wasn't really scoring as much, but boy, did he help in that Winnipeg series, in that Dallas series, in that Sharks series, and boy, did he even help in that Boston series still, even though he couldn't score as much. You know what I mean? Definitely a great player, what he did in the playoffs, and definitely is worth considering being one of the best players in the Stanley Cup playoffs last year. O'Reilly, with $7.5 million contract, 77 points, was traded in the offseason from the Sabres to the Blues, and boy, did this work out at the end. Didn't ever win his Stanley Cup, brings his Stanley Cup to his grandmother, but 77 points, really good. During that playoffs, even won the Conn Smythe Trophy. You know what I mean? I thought it would be Binnington, but hey, O'Reilly did a fantastic job, especially in that final. Absolutely just taking that up Boston and absolutely just sealing the cup win and saying, we're winning it and you're not Boston. Tarasenko, a $7.5 million contract, 68 points. I'd like to see him on 70, 75 points next year or 80 for him. Definitely I can see a really good year from him. Looking at that, a strong player, kind of reminds me of Pacioretty times 2. Kind of like that. Strong player on the puck. Holds that puck. Really good. Plus and minus. Really holds onto that puck. Doesn't give it away that much. Really big guy. Holds the puck. Strength. All that stuff. Great guy. Perron is a $4 million contract, 46 points after having 60 points with the Vegas Golden Knights. But still, I think he'll have even a better season next year. After, gotta remember, this team had a horrible beginning of the season. January 1st, they were bottom of the league, and look what they are now, a cup champ. So, you gotta really look at that too, and kind of factor that in. These are kind of like half a year stats, because that's when they start to get rolling. Looking at Shen, a $5.1 million contract, 54 points, a great number 2 center with O'Reilly there. Of course, he was number 1 before. Number 2 for him now, a former Flyer, if you don't know who he is. But Shen is a great guy there, down that middle. Really will be a great center, and he has been for the Stanley Cup, definitely. Scored in Game 7. Moving on to Thomas, oh my goodness. Thomas. Oh my goodness, what's his name now? I can't remember now. Thomas. Sorry. It'll come to me. $894 for his contract. 33 points for a rookie. Absolutely, that is pretty good. I gotta say, definitely that's really good for him. Definitely will see better points. You know what I mean? Started rolling on that end of the season there. Zach Sanford, a $1.5 million contract, 20 points, but he showed when he was with O'Reilly on that line. Absolutely. He was that sandpaper-ish guy who gets in there, gets it to O'Reilly, he scores. You know what I mean? That whole thing definitely was an incredible pickup. Gem in that playoffs. And not just that, but the final in Boston. Bozak here, $5 million contract, 38 points. He was in Toronto, if you don't remember. Yes, he was, and he's on a multiple-year contract here, but 38 points. Started off slow, really was that great guy in that third-line center. This would prove that you need good center depth in these playoffs. Definitely had a really good 1, 2, 3 punch here. Even 4 with Sundqvist, definitely. Sammy Blais, only 4 points, but actually played a great young role. He's still a rookie, but he was a rookie. Next year, hopefully, will get more than 4 points. Has a Stanley Cup behind him now, so he knows that he can build off this Stanley Cup win. And yes, with $850,000 contract, we'll see how he does. Alexander Steen with $5.75 million contract. 27 points after having 40 points, 47 in 17-18 season. Really pushed down, but he's a great, gritty player who get into the boards, get that puck moving with Sundqvist. Absolutely fantastic. And we'll see what happens there. But definitely awesome. And then you have Oscar Sundqvist with 31 points. Absolutely fantastic year for him after having around 10 points in 17-18 season with a $2.75 million contract. Absolutely fantastic. Of course, he got suspended a little with the Boston Bruins, but in the final there. But when he was away, they missed him. But when he came back, boy, was he a gem on that fourth line. Robby Fabbri really hasn't played in the playoffs, but talking about him with a $900,000 contract, 6 points, after having 37 points in 15 to 16 season, he's getting back to what he needs to do, healthy. His knee he got injured badly with his knee, and then he came back, played a little in the preseason, 16 17 season, played a little, and then 17-18 season, preseason, hurt his knee again, whole season out. So 18-19 season, kind of like a rookie year almost from the comeback and that, rookie year comeback, restarting his career over basically. And looking at some extra forwards, Mick Urchin, he played around 10 games, and he has a $750,000 contract. He's 25, and he has 5 points. A good, guy that can bring up. Definitely try him out, see how he does in the lineup. And Ivan Barbashev, also, he's an RFA, and he has 26 points. Definitely a good, gritty guy. Still has to get his, his contract together. Has not had that, but great guy. 26 points, definitely a really good bottom pairing there. A Russian good center or left winger. Looking now at the defense, Carl Gurgensen with a $1.75 million contract. 7 points, of course. Wasn't the best season he had, but when he went into the playoffs, boy, was he absolutely fantastic with Pietrangelo, the captain. Saved a couple goals that Binnington the puck almost went in the goal, and Gurgensen went right at it, whoa, no, so that's not going in, Boston. Definitely we saw that. A 2-year, $1.75 million contract, but I think he will build off of this, definitely. Pietrangelo is a UFA at the end of the year of 19 to 2020 season in the free agencies with a $6.5 million contract on his last term with 41 points. He's the captain. Definitely a slow year for him in the beginning, but picked it up like everyone else did. Definitely we have to see more from him. We'll see more, don't worry. For his contract here, definitely. Jay Bouwmeester with a $3.25 million contract, 17 points. With his hip injury, 35 years old. What are you going to do about that? He's injured for a little bit, and then he came into the playoffs absolutely fantastic. Great defense, great puck moving, great getting that puck to the net. Absolutely fantastic. What a job Bouwmeester did. 35 hip issues and all that, but brought himself back, and he's healthy now. Palinka with a $5.5 million contract. Absolutely, he shoots BBs. He has a great wrist shot and a slap shot. Gets that puck to the point. Gets that slap shot off. Tries to get to the net. Anything can happen, right? With 28 points, a little of a down season. Of course, like I said, keep on saying, they rebounded after January 1st. So, these numbers might not look as appealing to you, but when you see the playoff stats, boy, you see some good stuff. Vince Dunn, a $722,000 contract, 35 points. Definitely, I really like Vince Dunn. He's going to take over Bouwmeester's spot. Maybe next year, the year after. Definitely, he's going to be really taking over that spot for him. But Dunn is a great defenseman. A little injured during the playoffs, but except that, really good. Robert Bortuzzo, and he has a $1.75 million contract, 10 points. But he's a great defenseman, tall, gets in there, really good defenseman, definitely we know that. And looking at the extra defenseman here is Pouliot with a $700,000 contract, 12 points. Like I said, he was the Vancouver Canucks, and if you didn't know that, he was drafted by the Penguins and put a couple years with the Penguins. So if you didn't know that, there you go. Moving on to Joel Edmondson. He's an RFA, so he still hasn't signed yet. 11 points, so definitely we can see a better yield from him. He can block shots. We've seen some great block shots, great defensive plays from Edmondson. I really do like his play. Definitely, we see some good stuff. Now let's go on to the goalies, last part here. Well, second to last part. Goalies, Binnington with a $4.4 million contract. Just signed as an RFA. 1.89 goals against average. That was during the season. Of course, he had a 246 goals against average during the playoffs, and absolutely fantastic. Had his down moments during the playoffs a little too, but bounced back every single time. Never let himself go. Very calm in the net. If he lets one, he stays calm. Say, let me stop the next puck. Let's do it. One stop at a time. One save. Come on. Allen. So that's the first goaltender. Fell apart, of course. But Allen with $35 million contract, 283. Of course, he turned his numbers around more at the end of the year. He's streaky. He do really well. Looks like one of the best goaltenders of the league. And then you find out, like, oh, what happened to you, Allen? Looks like you're a whole different person. You know what I mean? So Allen, they said they're not trading him away. He has 2 years left. Binnington does, and Allen does. So we'll see what happens. Last part of it all. What do they still need? Nothing. I think they don't change anything. This team looks correct together, and they were able to fortunately keep this team together, basically. You know what I mean? Some teams can't keep their team together because they have so much up to the cap, and they're like, oh, sorry, I can't sign you. Oh, great, our team is just in shambles after winning the Stanley Cup. It's very hard to keep your team together, and this team has been able to do it, and they have left a $5 million in cap. So still, there is a little left, so definitely that's a great job. And also, I say stay consistent. You know what I mean? Through the whole year. Make sure your team stays consistent, not just you stink in this part of the year. You good on this side. You know, even 17-18 season, you had ups and downs, but stay consistent. But stay in a winning, you might not be winning 10 games in a row and then, losing 5 kind of stay on a nice, consistent pace, definitely. And this is my NHL Hockey News Reports Blues season preview. I hope you all enjoyed my great season preview. Really wanted to get into what we see next year. Basically, this team has not changed, but definitely there's new expectations for this team to do great again and get back to the playoffs. They did, and they won the Stanley Cup. Definitely a great team, and I hope all the players enjoy the Stanley Cup for a day, right? See you next video, NHL Hockey News Report. Let's go to 150 subs. Let's go for that for a special video. So if you want that special video, subscribe to get close to that 150 subs. See you next video. Bye.